The room smelled of cinnamon, roasted meats, and forced smiles. My parents had thrown a grand family celebration, a milestone birthday for my father, and the whole extended clan had gathered in the family home. It was a polished affair, complete with velvet drapes, silver platters, and seating charts like we were dining with royalty, except royalty apparently didn't include me or my daughter. We arrived on time. I was holding Maya's hand, my 6-year-old daughter, who had spent the whole car ride rehearsing a little poem she wanted to recite for her grandpa. She had even drawn him a crayon card with shaking, proud hands. I could tell she was excited, hopeful, and I really tried to share that feeling, even though I knew my parents had always shown an uncomfortable bias toward my brother S side of the family. But this time, I thought maybe they'd change. They didn't. We stepped into the main dining hall, and my heart dropped. Right in the center was a miniature throne, an actual throne, gilded and upholstered in red velvet. And sitting on it, beaming like he was next in line for Buckingham Palace, was my nephew, my brother's son, Corey. Surrounding him were balloons with his name, custom favors, and even a professional photographer snapping posed shots like it was his coronation. I scanned the room. There were elegant dining chairs ranged neatly for everyone except one corner. On the floor beside the buffet table was a thin yoga mat, a paper plate, and a folded napkin. It was like someone had thrown together a pity setup as an afterthought. It didn't take long to realize it was meant for my daughter. "Mommy, where's my chair?" Her voice cracked like glass. Before I could answer, my mom strolled up in her glittering sari, perfume heavy in the air. "Oh, honey," she said with a fake laugh. "We ran out of proper seating, but Maya's young. She won't mind, right? Kids like the floor. It's fun." My stomach turned. I glanced at my father, hoping for some kind of sanity, but he just shrugged. "Don't be dramatic," he muttered. We didn't expect everyone to show up. I bit my lip hard. My daughter was standing there, still holding her card, still looking around like maybe it was all a misunderstanding. And then Corey, sitting on his throne, smug and entitled, stuck his tongue out at her. "I'm the prince today. You're just a guest." Maya's face fell. Her small fingers crushed the corner of the card. "Enough," I whispered. "That's enough." "Oh, come on." My mom rolled her eyes. "You've always been too sensitive. This isn't about Maya. It's about celebrating family. You should be grateful we even invited you this time." That was the final spark. I bent down, picked up Maya, and whispered, "We're going, baby." But I didn't get to give him the card. She whispered back, lip trembling, "You'll give it to someone who deserves it. Let's go." As I turned to leave, my father barked, "If you leave now, don't bother coming back." I stopped at the door. "I won't." What they didn't know was that 3 weeks ago, the house they all gathered in, the same one my parents lorded over for decades, had gone into quiet foreclosure. My parents, drowning in debt they pretended didn't exist, had taken a loan they couldn't pay back. And guess who bought the lien? Me. I hadn't said anything. Not yet. I knew I couldn't let it slide. They had drawn the line too boldly this time, and I was going to cross it with grace, fire, and a signature. 3 days after the disaster of that birthday party, I stood outside the same family home now. My property now, this time in heels, not shame. The purchase had gone through quietly through a proxy company I set up for privacy. I didn't want them to know it was me. Not yet. I needed the moment to be perfect, measured, silent, devastating. Like the years I spent watching my brother get praised for average grades. Well, I built an accounting firm from my bedroom. Or the times my parents called me practical, which was just code for plain and invisible, while they threw jewelry and affection at my sister-in-law. I was done being invisible. With Maya in school and my assistant running the office for the day, I had time. Time to breathe, time to plan, time to visit the tenants. Yes, because the eviction notice was scheduled to be delivered next week. But before that, I had something else to do. I knocked. My mom opened the door. "Oh," she said, visibly annoyed. "What do you want?" "I need to talk to you and Dad in private." She hesitated, but something about the calm in my tone unsettled her. She led me in. Inside, the house looked the same. Plastic-covered couches, fake gold frames with pictures of Corey on every wall, a shrine of trophies for every second-place ribbon he'd ever earned. And in the corner, Maya's crumpled card, still unopened, still sitting on a side table like garbage. My dad was in the recliner. "Make it quick. We're expecting real estate agents later. We might have to sell. We've fallen a bit behind on." "Oh," I cut in softly. "You're not selling." They both looked at me. "What do you mean?" My mom snapped. "Because someone already bought it." I took the folder from my bag and placed it gently on the table. My name was right there in bold print. Full ownership. No mortgage. Their eyes scanned the paper. My father's mouth slowly opened. My mom went pale. "You?" She whispered double quotes, "Yes." "But why didn't you tell us?" My dad asked. I tilted my head. "The same reason you didn't tell me you canceled my ticket last year so my sister could fly first class to Dubai. Remember? You gave me $3 and told me to learn to struggle. That was the last time I let you own the narrative." My mother's voice broke. "You bought our home behind our backs. You made my daughter sit on the floor like she was garbage. You thought this house was your kingdom. You forgot the power of the one you raised in silence." They were too stunned to speak. So I leaned in. "I'm not kicking you out," I said calmly. "Not yet. But your nameplates." I pulled a small black velvet bag from my purse and gently dropped the 2 brass door nameplates, Mur. and Mrs. Ramen, onto the marble table. "Gone." "Why would you do this?" My mom finally cried. "Because I needed you to know what it feels like to sit on the floor and watch someone else be crowned." I stood. "You raised me like I was spare, like I was the backup plan if something ever happened to the golden child. You praised Corey for existing and punished Maya for being born to the wrong daughter. We were just trying to keep peace in the family," my father mumbled. "Peace." I laughed bitterly. Peace is when a child doesn't cry on the car ride home, asking why no one loves her like they love her cousin. I took one last look around. The same home that rejected me, that forgot birthdays, that told me my awards were cute and my success was lucky. It would now serve a different purpose. It was mine, not for revenge, but for remembering. And I had only just begun. I didn't evict them that day. I didn't need to. Sometimes the weight of knowing you've lost control hurts more than actually being forced to leave. I let that truth simmer in their walls like silence after a slammed door. Weeks passed. They didn't call. I didn't expect them to. They still lived in the house, but the tension must have strangled every breath inside it. The air was no longer theirs. It was mine. Their name wasn't on the doorbell anymore, just a small metallic square that said Rented Unit A. Their kingdom reduced to tenants. But I wasn't finished. It was Maya's school awards ceremony. She had just been named Student of the Year. Straight A's, a science trophy, and a beautiful, proud speech about overcoming noise to hear your own voice. I decided it was time for them to finally see her, not seated on a floor, but standing on a stage. I sent them to tickets, front row, VIP. The card inside said simply, "Maybe now you'll stand for someone worth sitting on the floor for." Maya's mom. I didn't expect them to come, but they did. They walked in subdued, unsure of their welcome. They weren't seated with the other family members. I'd arranged that on purpose. They sat alone like guests at someone else's life. When Maya walked on stage, her curls bouncing and eyes glowing under the lights, the room applauded. She waved shyly. And then the principal said, "We'd also like to acknowledge her mother, our school's newest major sponsor, who ensured scholarships for girls from underrepresented homes." Every eye turned to me. My parents' jaws dropped. They didn't know I had donated under Maya's name. that the school library was going to bear her name, that the scholarships would be called the Maya Grace Fund. After the ceremony, Maya ran to me. I hugged her, heart bursting. But she turned. "Hi, Grandma." "Hi, Grandpa," she said politely. They nodded. Their faces were blank, but I could see it. The shame, the ache, the realization that they'd made a grave mistake. "We're proud of you," my father muttered. Maya smiled. "Thanks. Mommy says we rise louder when no one claps for us." They blinked. That evening, when I returned to the house, something was different. Their room was empty. On the dining table was a note. "We've decided to go stay with Corey for a while. We don't belong here anymore. You were never a backup. We just couldn't see clearly through our own failure." No apology, no begging, just the kind of resignation that comes after you realize the seat of power was never yours. It was loaned and now returned. Months passed. The house became a sanctuary, not for revenge, but for renewal. I turned the old garage, where Maya once sat humiliated, into a reading nook. Her throne, as she calls it, is a soft orange beanbag under a skylight filled with stars. One evening, she asked, "Mommy, do you think they'll ever come back?" I smiled softly. "Maybe, but by then, we'll be too far ahead to look back." And as the sun poured golden light across the living room floor, I realized something. I hadn't just bought a house. I reclaimed a life. They gave my daughter the floor. So I gave her a world where she would never have to kneel to anyone's idea of worth again.